Welcome to Distilled the Bourbon Podcast, where we taste bourbon and talk about it. I'm Brent. I'm here with my co-hosts Brian, Chuck, and Aaron. And today we're starting a new series called Short Pours. Aaron, tell us what we're going to be talking about today.
So the idea behind this series is we're going to just bring a bottle out. We're going to look at it. We're going to taste it. We're going to let you know what we think about it. So we're going to start today with Eagle Rare. It's Buffalo Trace product, 10-year-old mash bill number 2. Price point about $45. They recently had an up in the price, and so Eagle Rare has been one of those kind of like other bottles that has seen very, very good reviews, and people have been looking for it, and so you know what that means, the price goes up.
Yeah, so, $45 MSRP. You'll never find it at a liquor store for $45, I don't think.
Some of us do.
Yeah. God bless you, everyone.
So the question is, can you find it now? Because it was on allocation for a while, right?
It's still on allocation, and I think it's going to be for the foreseeable future. Buffalo Trace, which is basically the same mash bill, a couple years younger, is actually more plentiful now than I've seen it in the last couple of years. So if you want to try Buffalo Trace, try it. It's, in my opinion, it's not as good as Eagle Rare, but it's a good alternative.
I like it.
Absolutely. The mash bill itself, the Eagle Rare, I mean, you start with Benchmark, it's 4-year, and you go up to Buffalo Trace, which is 8-year, and then Eagle Rare, which is the 10-year version of the same juice. So, of course, the 4-year is a lot cheaper than the 8-year, which is a lot cheaper than the 10-year. But I think the idea is we're going to nose this, we're going to talk about it, we're going to drink it, and then we're going to tell you whether we would take a bottle home, whether we would take a pour home, or whether we're going to leave it for somebody else. So what do we got on the nose?
Mama. I like that nose already.
It's an amazing nose.
Caramel?
Absolutely.
Werther's caramel. It's as caramelly as any bourbon I've ever nosed at all. I don't know how Buffalo Trace, I'm sure they're picking barrels, but I don't know how you can go from Buffalo Trace at 8 years to Eagle Rare at 10. I'm not dissing Buffalo Trace.
I like Buffalo Trace.
BT is a good whiskey, and I will have it on the rocks.
Buffalo Trace is one of the most versatile bourbons in my bar. You can make great drinks with it. You can drink it on the rocks. You can drink it straight.
Agreed. And a great value, $35.
Yeah, but this is different level stuff, man. Have you tried it yet?
No, as I get deeper in my nose, I get a grape sense. I know that that is not a flavor I have ever had in a bourbon before.
Now the question is, what kind of grape? You're talking about like a green grape, a purple grape, a black grape?
Purple grape, like almost grape Kool-Aid, almost.
If you ever have a chance to have Chilean black grapes, holy cow, what a wonderful fruit that is, Chilean black grape.
I guess that just leads to the fruitiness of the 10-year.
So the nose, to me, is A+.
Mm-hmm.
The taste is right there with it. I really like it.
It is. I mean, this is so much better than regular Buffalo Trace. I mean, Buffalo Trace to me, I don't even like to drink it neat. You know, You know, when people come to the store and want to buy Buffalo Trace, I'm like, why? You know, there's so many other bourbons that you can buy for less than $35, in my opinion. But for 2 more years, same mash bill, this is a must grab if you can find it on the shelf.
So we like the nose, we like the taste, and we like the value. Home run so far, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but if you can find it for $45, well, I mean, I'm taking a bottle home every time.
Every time I find it.
So with that being said, Chuck, what's your top dollar that you'd pay for this bottle if you saw it on the shelf?
Don't tell him, Chuck.
Please. Market research.
Well, I'll tell you, I went with a big group of friends to Churchill Downs Derby Week. This was on the Wednesday of Derby, and we had a small busload of people, and we stopped at a liquor store. They had Eagle Rare on the shelf. I said, what's the price? And I think they had it priced at $65. I said, no, thanks. And they asked, well, what would you pay for it? And I said, $55. And they sold it to me for $55. I will say that bottle was very much enjoyed on the 2-hour ride home by passengers. And now would I? Yeah, I'd pay $55 every day of the week for it.
I'm a sucker because I'd pay $75 for this. I think it's that good.
Brian, what about you? Do you have I know you know the value and all that, but Do you have a
I
certain,
know the value, and the only reason I asked that is because there's a lot. I'm on a lot of bourbon pages on Facebook, and basically that's my entire feed. But people always ask, what would you pay for this? And it's really a personal question to yourself. If you enjoy it, what are you willing to pay? And for me, it's about $75. If I can find this at a store, $75, I'll buy it. If I didn't have liquor stores, of course, which I do, so I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But $75 is where I'd be.
All right, Brent. So would you buy a bottle, buy a pour, or are you going to leave it for somebody else?
I would buy a bottle. I would buy a pour when it was available. I'm never, ever leaving a bottle for anybody else. You guys better find it before I do.
Agreed.
That's all I have to say.
Brian?
I'm buying the case. Bring the case out here.
Eagle Rare is amazing stuff.
Then I'll sell it to Brent for $75.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're so much more of a rye guy. Isn't this a kind of sweet whiskey for you?
It's really not. So I guess it's the wheated bourbons that have run me, the ones that everybody really enjoys, the Wellers of the world, the Pappies. If I had this next to Pappy, I promise you I would choose this over Pappy 10 years.
All day and
All
twice
day.
on Sunday.
Agreed. Absolutely.
And I have to agree, I would buy a bottle for sure. The thing about this, it's different for me, is I like my proof at about 110 or higher, and this one is 90 proof. So it's not, it's low for what I would normally drink, but I absolutely love it.
But don't you think it's more complex than a 90?
Very much so. And I think that has
agree.
to do with the age statement, being 10 years. So
It's not too oaky.
not at all.
It's not that dark. It's great bourbon.
just great bourbon.
So I'm going to suppose that at Buffalo Trace that they're curating barrels, and they're finding really nice barrels that are going to grow up to be an Eagle Rare, and they're setting those aside. Buffalo Trace bourbon, I think it's fine, but clearly they're going in the Rick House and saying, yeah, that guy's going to graduate school.
Yes, that's 100% true.
There you go. We love Eagle Rare. And with that being said, please drink responsibly.